So I told the management, okay, what if we bid up this much higher? And I really jumped high. I never just jumped, I jumped high. It was like a wall that you couldn't. And this guy was just like, no, you don't even really need to jump that high.
Let's take it a bit lower.
Let's take it a bit lower. If you can hit this number, the space is yours. But it was 300 rejections.
2 years.
And 2 years. So just think about...
That's what percentage?
It's less than a percentage. Because 1% is 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
0.8. Hey guys, welcome back to the Traders Show here with Financial Hub. Ken, Taras and I. So we are back. We are in our new office in Lavington, which most of you have been able to see from our previous videos. And yeah, it's been quite the journey, and we're here to basically talk about that. Taras will tell you the topic of today's podcast, but we're excited to be back. We're excited for more podcasts. We're back to our online analysis, our classes, physical classes here in Lavington Mall, and we'll share all about that in this podcast, how the journey was, the entrepreneurship, what we learned, the ups and downs, dealing with the workers, the fundis here and there. So it's been quite a journey, and it's only right for us to give you guys the lessons we've learned, how it's been, so that you guys can learn from it, because we believe that it's not only us who will be in this space, but a lot of people are learning from us, not only in Forex, but in other industries as well. So it's important for you guys to learn the lessons we've learned. So apart from that, everything has been well. We're excited. We are happy to be back. More podcasts, more guests, more analysis, more. There's so much more that we want to bring out of us and share with you guys. That's why we decided to do the investment in our office and to come up with something that is sustainable both for us and for you guys to learn from. So without further ado, I'll let the boys introduce themselves, then we'll jump into the topic. Ken?
Hello traders, welcome back to another episode. Like Caleb has said, so in this episode, like Caleb said, actually we're going to shed more light on how we got where we are. This is a new milestone for us, so we're going to talk about the whole journey from transitioning from town all the way to where we are right now. But now we will shed some more light on what we're going to talk about, and then we'll straight jump into the topic. Other than that, we've been looking at markets. Trading never stops. Markets never stop moving. So we still look at markets. We've been trading markets, and we've also been sharing and creating content on how that is faring. More videos coming, like Caleb said. But I think for today, I'll pass it on to Lavi before we jump into the topic.
Okay, greetings traders. Nice to be here again, sharing content with you guys as always. It's been a long time coming since we did our last podcast. I know most of you have been inquiring on when we are going to drop another one. I think now the project in the office is done, and we expect more of consistent content from us. Every other week we will be dropping at least a podcast for you guys, and many other contents on YouTube, on our Instagram, on our pages. Please follow us on all our social platforms. I think Ken and Caleb have already just talked about what we're going to talk about today, and it's basically the new milestone we've gotten in our entrepreneurial journey since we started the company back in 2018. I think it's been roller coaster, ups and downs, successes, breakthroughs, challenges, moving from a 3-man office to a 7-man office, and now to an office that can accommodate more than 30 people comfortably. So it's been an interesting journey, which I feel like sharing the ups and downs, the breakthroughs, the challenges to some of you, I think, who are very interested in business and entrepreneurship. You can learn so much from today's podcast. I think we'll both share at least a breakthrough and challenges with first trying to expand business. So for us, we decided to become entrepreneurs from the day go after quitting school and getting fully into business. So I think it has been an interesting journey, of course. Hasn't been so smooth, but also not so rough. We give thanks for all the processes that we've gone through in learning business, mistakes we make here and there, bouncing back, learning from other people, learning from connections. So there's a lot that I think we've learned in doing this project. I think it has been a long project, probably about 6 months project, or even longer. But we thank God it has come to fruition, and I think this is now at the back of us, probably thinking again of the next big project that we will be doing. But for now, let's share the journey, how the journey has been, probably since closing our office in town, I think most of you who are following us, we took a solid break to create something good for you guys, to improve our learning experience for our traders, even for us as traders again in the office, getting a better place to trade from, because I feel like trading also comes with good trading comes with having a good trading environment and good people around you. So I think that is again very critical. If you're watching this, I hope it motivates you to keep on with your trading and keep on pushing to get to where you want to get in business, in whatever kind of business you're doing. Of course, there are challenges, but I believe a good entrepreneur is one who can pass through the challenges and get to the other side of the river. I think, we'll just basically shine a light on how we got here and probably what we have in store for you guys. If you have not yet visited our office, we're at Lavington Mall, 4th floor. So
the Chandarana
building. Can always visit us. We are always open from 8:30 a.m. to around 6 p.m. So you can always visit us around those hours and we'll have a chat with you guys. Caleb?
So guys, so as my brother said, we want to talk about the journey entrepreneurship. If before we get into this office, it's important to talk about the previous office, because I was with some friends today and they were asking me, how did you guys come from Zimmerman all the way to here? And I think it's important. I think the only answer, I don't know what you guys can answer on that same question, but for me, I just told them, it was just consistency in what we're doing. I couldn't say that when we're in Zimmerman, we planned that 5 years I should be in Lavington. I didn't plan it out. I just did what I had to do. The world conspired with me and helped me get to where. What will you guys say?
How we've gotten to where we are from
when we started.
I think we've talked about this again, and we didn't have another option. We had to do it.
There's no option.
There was no plan B. Like, for the three of us, I think we have a similar background in terms of education. What we know is basically learning on the job in terms of doing business, and some bit of strategy, also some bit of, as you're saying, the universe just aligning with your goal again, and you get to have an idea of where you want to go. And again, of course, you have to push yourself, because I also feel like it comes also from hard work. It hasn't been easy. Like, I didn't get here. A lot of sacrifice, of course, yes. Sacrificing time, probably from family, from friends, from so much for you to get to where you are. And still, I feel like we are not where we want to be.
True.
It's just one stepstone, like one milestone. There are many other milestones before we get to the ultimate, where you say self-actualization. I think there's a long way to go, of course. We don't know how we'll get there, but just keep on doing it, being consistent, as you're saying. And time will come and it will appear if it was to appear.
Ken?
I don't want to repeat what you guys have said, so if I was to look at it from a different angle, just to add on to what you guys have said, one I'd say is focus. I've never seen any of us think about doing any other thing other than trading. So that focus, that narrowing down on just one subject and doing it over years. I was actually reading a book right now, and it was an investment manager who's running JP Morgan. She's managing about $4 trillion, and she was saying one thing she's learned is you can't master any specific field without being interested in that field for years. I think the only reason why we are where we are is we've been interested in business, trading, and we've stuck to that for the past 7 or 8 years. Since 2017, I think, when we started, all the way to now, the question has never been, we need to change our course. The question has always been, how can we solve this problem and move to the next step? So one, I'd say, is that level of focus. Very many people don't have it. I see it even among my friends. Like, today I'm here, tomorrow I want to do this, the next time I want to do this. I feel like even what Lau is trying to say, where we are not where we want to go, is the second point that I'd come to, which is having that vision of where you want to go to. I think from when we started, we knew we knew we wanted to build an investment bank, but we knew we'd start with building Financial Lab, what we're currently doing, as we build it up to an investment bank. So having that vision also, I think, really helped. Like, knowing that I'm starting here, I didn't just leave school, I'm leaving school my main objective is to build a hedge fund, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to get there.
Yeah.
Everything else is just like you've said. You don't know when you'll get there. You don't know how you'll get there. You just have to take the next step that is on your. It's like driving. I was actually looking at some analogy of driving at night. When you're driving at night, you might know I'm going home, but
You can't.
you can only see where the lights are lighting up.
home.
So that's not home, but you know you're going home. So I'd say the second one is having a vision, and the third one that I'd say is having this support system. I think that if I was doing it alone, I don't think I'd be here. If any of you are doing it alone, I don't think you'd be here. And if you think that, I think you might be too arrogant. So having that support system, like today I could be down. There are very many times I've seen that really helps. Like having someone to just pull you when you're not feeling well, and having so that friendship also, I'd say, has really contributed to us being where we are. I think those three things are the main ones that I'd say, besides what you guys have said.
Okay, because what I'm seeing, for example, it's more or less the same way you said, and I think those are lessons now people can start gathering. Because one important thing you've said, it's taken us time. It's taken us 7 years. We didn't start, and personally, like the way Tara is saying, we're just getting started. We are not where we want to be. There's still a lot to be done. This is just along the pathway, and it's taken us 7 years. So someone might watch this and think maybe by the time we started YouTube is when we're starting. Even before we started the YouTube, we were still doing it behind the scenes. So a lot of these things, it took us a lot of time to build up. Because like I like saying, we're working on two main things at the same time. You're working on trading, which is very hard, and you're working on business. So you're trying to balance the two. Most times people are doing one of the two. You're either doing trading alone, you're not even thinking of teaching, but as we're thinking of, as we are learning, we're educating people and empowering them. So those are a few things we've been doing along the years, and I think it's been the fastest way we've learned how to trade, by teaching and getting feedback. People ask questions, and sometimes you don't have answers to those questions. So like I remember the other day when we were laughing when you guys asked me questions about fundamentals. The next thing is, let me go learn. I really like how you took it. Like you never took it, and that's one thing that really helps, I think, among us. Anytime you challenge me, I would take it personally, but I'll make sure the next time you try and ask me such a question, I'll have a solid answer. Which is true, which is good for business in terms of being open-minded. You don't know everything, and you accept the fact, and you go learning more. And if I continue asking, because let me act as sort of like today I'm the guy for diaries called who?
Stephen Bartlett.
Stephen Bartlett. Today I'm your Bartlett. Let me ask questions, which I'll also be getting in, but it's around the same topic we're talking about. So in terms of, because like we're talking about how we went from Zimmerman, the 2-bedroom, then we came to the office in 2019, and then not 2019, I'm sorry, 2020, when COVID had just hit, and a few years later, we were moving into the 7-man office, and in less than a year, we were already moving into a 30-man office. And I remember, Taras, you said that in the previous video when we were launching the office, the one you said, I don't know, we can insert it somewhere. You said, we just come here, we have 7-man office, soon we're hoping to move into a 30-man office. I remember those exact same words. So when you said those words, were you expecting to get here this fast?
I think already the project was in line. Like we already started working on the project. We knew we needed this much space, because I think that was a challenge we had in town. In town, we were using a co-working space called Rigorous. It was not enough for us for the demand we were getting in terms of inquiries. Classes were a lot. There was interest in people learning how to trade markets. And of course, with the need to improve our product, give people a good service or environment to learn, I think I had already figured out moving into a very huge space. But what I didn't know is how it turned out to look like, or to appear eventually when the design came in, when the furniture came in. Because we got the space. The space itself, we got it around in September last year, 2022. So we had the vision in mind, like we need this space. We wanted to take this space. We took it actually immediately. we didn't even think twice about, let's go and think about it, or can go think about it, Caleb go think about it. I think the moment we saw it and we had an idea, okay, so we can move our space to here, I think we all clicked and we all decided, okay, this is what we are going for. And
shared vision.
the same week we put down the
And I think
previous walls.
I'd love to tell that story of how we came to this space.
Yeah, please do. Because that was the next question I was going to ask, but you can tell it. How we got this space.
That's also a lesson in business, because I think what we did there was quite fantastic. Like, I'd not thought about it from that perspective. But anyway, this is what happened. So we normally shoot a podcast in Lavington, where we're currently shooting this podcast. And we were coming in to just...
Intro Media, shout out.
Exactly. Caleb is better at doing those things. So shout out to Trio Media, though. So we were coming to shoot a podcast. And when we were shooting the podcast, we noticed that the next space to them was it was actually empty. So we tried to inquire, okay, how much is rent here? How much do you pay? What is the process? And the guys who are at Trio Media told us, no, we can't answer all those questions, but what we can do is we can give you the number to the caretaker. You talk with him. Yeah. So we call the caretaker. He comes in. He tells us this space is this much. So I won't tell you the amount, obviously. The space is this much. And we're very excited because it's within the budget that we were looking for.
Yeah, because prior to that, we had scouted offices in Westlands.
Yeah, we had scouted a couple.
Yeah, I remember we went to Prism Towers.
We went to a couple of places.
We went to many. Yeah.
Very many places. Then this
actually, anyone who watches our stories will have noticed. Because I remember a couple of people asking me, already looking for another office?
Exactly. But I remember in town, we went to that NSSF building, the one above the Nakumat that used to be in town.
Nakumat.
Yeah.
And that we had locked that place. We said this is the best place we want. Yeah.
But anyway, so the next day we decide, okay, we'll take up the space, and we call up the management of the building, and we decide we're going to take up the space. So they tell us the process, how much you need to pay for us to book the space, and we're intact. We're going to do it. Then 3-4 days later, I was actually the one who was in contact with that person. I call him and I tell him, okay, I wanted to do the payment. And they tell me, no. Unfortunately, you can't do the payment because the space has already been taken up by someone else. Or someone else is in the pipeline of taking up
there's someone else who wants to take it.
Yeah. And for us, we wanted to take the space, destroy the partitions that were there. Now, the other person wanted to take the space with the same partitions. So the management was like, you guys are coming to destroy the building, so why should we give the space to you and there's someone else who's going to use the space the way it is? If you've taken leases for buildings, you know how those things work. If you've not, basically, when you come into a building, you can do adjustments, but when you leave, you have to leave the building how you found it. So that was the challenge. So after that, we just hung up the phone and decided, okay, it's okay. But then 3 days or 4 days later, we came again for a podcast. And I remember we were just with Lawi on that specific space. We were just the two of us there. And as we were talking, Lavi told me, by the way, what do you think? What if we decide to outbid this guy? Because this other guy is paying this much, and us, we think we can bid higher for the office.
Price war.
Yeah, price war. So it's like a price war. So what we decided was, let's call up this guy immediately and tell him, this guy is bidding this much, but us, we can bid this much. So what's the think?
Yeah, we bid higher.
So I called this guy and told him, hey, hi, how are you? Has the other person paid? Unfortunately, she had not paid. So what I told the person is...
It was a she, by the way?
It was a she.
Okay.
It was a she was to take up the space.
Yeah.
So I told the management, okay, what if we bid up this much higher? And I really jumped high. I never just jumped. I jumped high. It was like a wall that you couldn't... And this guy was just like, no, you don't even really need to jump that high.
Let's take it a bit lower.
Let's take it a bit lower. If you can hit this number, the space is yours. And we told him, we'll hit that number. Monday, we'll give you the payment. So they sent us the details, and on Monday, we did the payment. And that's how we actually got that space. So it was that much conviction.
Fought for our followers.
Exactly. You fight for it. So anytime you're told no, just think about, okay, is this really a no? Or is this something that I can walk over and go to the other side?
So not all no's are no's.
Exactly.
True. Especially in business, you need to know how to beat your competitor.
Yeah.
You can't beat the next person competing with you. Be it on the same product, be it on the same floor, be it probably your business. Because Betratel says competition is for losers.
Yeah.
If this guy beats you, of course you've lost.
Yep.
And I think like us now deciding to do that bidding war and
winning.
winning that was a good business lesson, because someone else will, it's gone, imeenda.
Because adding on what you're saying, you did a bidding war and we won. It's more of teaching you how you won't get everything on a silver platter.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Like
Sometimes
you might have the connections, you might have what you're given, but there's some things you have to really fight for.
Yep.
You won't just because it's Ken, because he's known by this person. You get my point. Yeah. So some things you just have to fight for and go for it head first. Like don't think much because if you started thinking much about it, will be like Ken, for this we can go cheaper and get another place. There's some things if you really believe in it and you can see that vision. And the good thing is, like you were saying, Ken, one of the lessons you shared, having the three of us being together, is that we are always on the same thought process. We're thinking the same. We're thinking, yes, we have to expand. We're all thinking, yes, we have to expand. We're thinking, this is what we need to buy. These are the equipment we need. We might differ on a few things, but the general big picture, we're all aligned together. And in that case, for you, Ken, why do you think we really needed to scale up? Why are we scaling up? Why is the company coming to this point? Why did we fight for the office and all that?
Okay, that's also a very good question. One thing is the previous service that we had, we've always been very focused on delivering quality service.
True.
Okay.
Since Zimmerman.
Since when we started, like there have been very many scams being run by people around our industry. And the funny thing is, actually, I've noticed that thing is not only happening in Kenya.
Yeah.
It's happening across the world. You remember like the broker thing we were watching? That happened in Spain.
Yeah.
You get? So it's not Forex that's the problem. I think just people abuse it across the world. Like they use it to scam people. So it's not like trading is the problem. It's how people around it use. But the first one is we were looking to have better services. So where we had gotten in town, we were delivering the service, but it was not quality service.
For sure.
Okay. So we had those challenges with space. We couldn't scale up. Students didn't have a nice community or a nice place to interact. Someone couldn't hang around the office after they finish their class and just do something before they leave. They had to leave immediately after the class. So the experience was not good at all. I think that was the first thing that we really noticed. That was the first problem. The second thing that I'd say was there was that it's like you're preparing. When you're building a business, it's like you need to be a step ahead of the market. You need to be ahead of what majority of the people are looking at. If you think about, we started working on trading before trading was even regulated in this country.
That's a good point.
Right? Like you have to take that bet that this thing will happen. Majority of the people don't see it, but I see it happening and I have to take that bet. Like I have to make sure I bet on it. So the trend we were observing was there were more people coming into the industry. There were more people interested in learning. There were more brokers coming into the market. The regulations were now in place. So if you just think about it.
And I remember those ones, we saw them way before it was even, like for example, the brokers. We started saying soon there'll be brokers coming.
Yeah.
Sooner or later. And immediately regulations came, they started flowing
into the country.
So good point, yeah.
So there was that like we were preparing for that opportunity that when this wave hits, it will go with us. Like it's like surfing. When you're surfing, you want that big
wave. Waiting for the wave. So you're there waiting.
You're waiting.
Preparing yourself.
Wave ikishaenda ndo na hey wave ndasurf aje tena.
Ikienda imeenda. And that wave nobody has a tiny opportunity.
That's like
even if you miss that, we need to get in and surf well.
Yeah. I was actually looking at something and people that guy was arguing that there are 4 types of luck. There's blind luck. Blind luck ni ile tu ilikupata. Mimi nilikuwa natembea nikapatana na msee. That's blind luck.
Is lottery under blind luck?
Yeah, lottery is also under blind luck because generally hata ukicheza hiyo stuff it's blind luck like but there's luck where you've prepared. There's luck called competency. Like you're competent enough for luck to come to you.
Okay.
And I think that's what we've generally been doing most times. And that's when that wave comes and you're competent enough and it carries you, now you enjoy the rewards of that wave. So I'd say those 2 things are the main ones. We were trying to prepare for the coming wave, and the service that we were delivering at town was not so good.
So when did it down? When the journey just you can fill us up to sort of where we've been now, because if I add on your point, for the reason for that, because like can I say the experience for the students wasn't well. Like students will come and they have to go. After class, immediately, if you remember well, most of the students who have been there, you'd find that the same class, there's a client, the same client.
There's Lawi
working on his trades. So then noise as well. I remember there was a lot of noise movement from town, movement, all that. So for us, with our vision and what we had, I think that's why we clicked to the Lavington very fast.
Yep.
It was convenient in the middle of a place. So
environment, quiet.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to add on. We wanted a conducive working environment for the employees and for us, employees, and for the students, such that when you come here, it's neutral. You're not feeling like there's too much noise, there's too much confusion. Come out, and I think the feedback we've gotten from many people, which I'll come talk about because I'm still building that journey so that people can understand, is the positive feedback we've gotten from people so far.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that towards the end. But
that point you asked Ken, I think also the nature of the business forced us to need. Like at that point, we needed to scale up.
True.
Because in town, we'd have a class of 3 people, and that class of 3 people, plus the tutor being 4 now, was again not very comfortable.
And that's the maximum we could reach
per session.
Yeah.
It was really eating out on our timing also, what we, Miken and Caleb call Adam Smith work. Like repetitive work. Like I can be having a class on risk in the morning, another class on risk in the afternoon, and another class on risk again in the evening. Currently, I can merge all those 9 people, 10 people, 15 people in one class, save much more of my time and also much of their time also. Combine a class, and I think I save time, and also I get more time to work on my trading. And again, the fact that there's more people in a class, you have more brains at once in a class. So even the students are learning from each other now, because you'll get probably 10 questions in that class. When the class of 3 people, you'll only get probably 1 question.
Yeah.
Even for the students themselves, they get to learn from each other more. Like it's a huger crowd. You get to have classmates, which probably you can make even better friends with moving forward after the classes and everything. So I feel like it's
build
a
that
win-win
community
for the clients and also for us in terms of saving much of your time to reduce the Adam Smith work. If you want to understand that, read The Wealth of Nations.
It's a big book, but anyway, good luck.
Disclaimer.
It's a big book and it's some tough English, but anyway. And now adding on that, how did, like you mentioned, Taras, we bid for the office. When was that? September?
October.
No,
September.
I remember it was September, sometime before, because October is when now we started looking for the lease. Then we pushed it to November. Remember, so it was sometime in September. I remember.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
November actually, but I remembered we left the office in November.
Yeah, because now we started planning, and so now on that planning, how was the planning journey and building up into? How did we be able to build up this place?
Taking risks.
It's all about that.
It's all about that. Like
because one thing I can mention even before you answer that, which is a good answer, we took the risk by closing down the office in November, before we even had an office running on the other side. It was nothing. It's like the way Ken was saying, it was just partitions up everywhere. We bid for the war. I remember our lease, because something many people don't understand, and also make him understand it in business. When it comes to offices are not like houses. You don't sign an agreement where if you want to come out, you come out tomorrow.
Yep.
Next month you give a notice, 1 week later I'm out of the place. In an office working environment, in the corporate world, you sign, like when we were at Rigas, we used to sign a 1-year lease. Now when you get such a space like this, where you're getting your own floor, your own space, you're building up everything, you're basically like, our lease was how many years?
2 years.
2 years. Now if you're getting a big building, a whole floor, you'll get those ones that are taking like 5 years, 6 years. 10 years.
I remember Rigas was actually paying a lease at Riverside, where there was Dusit. Dusit, where there was an attack.
Yeah,
they were paying a lease that they had left that place about 4 years ago, but they were still paying rent.
Yeah, because that's the thing about the lease. Once you sign the lease, you can't terminate in between. Hakuna kuhepa. I remember like when we were hit by COVID, I remember, I didn't know. I used to tell Ken, we closed down the office in Taras. We open when things are coming back to normal. But Ken and Taras kept reminding me, we can't cut off the lease. The lease you've signed its written document that you need to pay rent for 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're paying, let's say 50 Gs and in 1 year that means it's 600 Gs. So it's an assurity for the company that you're going to pay 600 Gs even if you're on the first, second month. Yeah. So it's for them. It's just how the business works, the corporate business works. So when we got here now, we had to sign the lease, and already, like I was saying earlier, we've gotten an office. We don't have the office running. We've closed down the previous one. So we closed down. I remember the November, I mean, this 30.
Yeah.
It was the 30th of November. It was the last day. Remember, we were there till like 1 a.m. taking out our screens, our stuff, and closing down that space. So now my question to you guys is, how did we come out of nothing to where we are now?
Hustle, grit, persistence, never giving up.
Tell me the story behind it. Those are the lessons you learned. What was the story behind it?
That's
Can you start?
Yeah. I think first things first, people need to understand I think our psychologist has mentioned it, that we tend to be believers in things we've not seen. Like if you ask Caleb if we'll buy a building, atakwambia atabuy, hata kaa hatuna hata a shilling, tutanunua tu hiyo building, we relax, we'll buy it after some time. You get? So I feel like it's the same mentality that we had. It was we're taking a risk, and you're going to do this project and you're going to do it to completion. Okay. As you were taking the risk, did you know the outcomes or how the things would move? No, not at all. We expected things to be obviously faster. Just like Tyson says, in your plan, everything is nice. But when you get that punch in your face,
it changes.
It changes. Everything now changes. It moves from being very nice to all of a sudden, what am I going to do? Like you even panic, like, okay, how am I going to get myself out of this? Because I'm stuck. Okay. So when we left in November, the plan was we're going to raise some little money, top up, and build the office space. And for us, the money we were looking to raise, to us it was small numbers. We didn't know, but at that time that was a huge amount that we were looking for. And we started pitching to different rich people that we knew could give us money. Everyone had a list of... Initially, we had already started pitching. I think it's important to actually say that.
We didn't just start.
We didn't just start. Exactly.
As we were moving to the office.
Yeah,
started around July, June.
Yeah, I
we
think...
knew we needed to expand.
Yeah.
Probably before the year ends.
Yep. And we started now looking to raise money and expand the business, okay? And we have written to over 200 venture capitalists, I think. Or more. Just telling them that we want to expand this business. We've done revenues of this much. We're looking for a partner to come in. This is the vision. This is where we want to take the company. This is the plan. This is the strategy. And out of those 200, I think we got less than 10 meetings. Actual physical meetings that we went. We got some replies, which were obviously rejections. We went for some meetings. People will listen in, hear what you're trying to do. Some will say, we love it, but our checks start this high. Or we like it, but you guys are not yet at this level. We normally like businesses that are at this level. Or we like it, but we are currently not writing any checks, so you guys have to wait. Just...
Remember some people, the financial year had ended, so they're waiting for the
funds are down. We're still raising a fund. So if you know how venture capitalists work, that was the jargon that we got for a very long time. But still, we pushed through. And in November, we decided, as much as we don't know how we'll build it up, we have to close down this. And it was a question of regressing before you progress. And I think that's one thing I've also learned. Like, at some point in your life...
It's not always forward.
It's not always forward. Lazima pull back kidogo. Just like the market.
Good point.
It moves high, then it pulls back, then you get another extended move to the upside. In your life, you'll tend to have almost the same cycles. You'll progress. You'll have moments where you regress a lot.
And on adding on that, that's the cycle Ray Dalio calls what? The audacious goals. Then failure.
You correct.
Yeah.
Then you move to more audacious. Very good point. Yeah. So it's that cycle. So we had to regress, okay? Because once we closed the office, no sales, not much of work was going on. We couldn't produce as much content because we didn't have the office. It was hard to coordinate everyone in the team, but we were still running the company. We still had people answering questions and inquiries. We'd still meet up with clients, as much as we had now moved from meeting up with clients in an office to meeting up with clients in restaurants and other places, and trying to explain to people that, listen, we're still trying out to build this other office. Probably it's going to take this long. It's a big project, so understand us. Such things. So we had to regress a bit. We had to move back a bit. And we had now to start actively now looking for money. And we started now pitching to different people. I think we pitched to so many people. We went to so many meetings.
Physical meetings, online
online meetings. And we even got to a point and started wondering, did we make a mistake in closing the other office down fast? Or are we still on track to attain our goal?
Yeah. Did we make a mistake to break the partitions?
Exactly.
We have just entered with our own desks.
Exactly. Did we make a mistake in thinking we can build out? Because that's when we were thinking about the vision, we were like, this is how much it takes to achieve this vision, and this is what we're going to go for. But sometimes I'd show people, actually, I remember some, when the quotation was made for building out the office, I'd share it with a couple of my friends who are in the industry, like someone who's doing civil, maybe, or is in civil works, or someone who's in interior.
Architecture.
Yeah, different people, and we tell them this is what we're looking forward to. And guys would be like, no, cut this budget. We can do without this. You can do without this. You can do without this. But every time someone will tell me that, I'd still go back home and say, no. What I want is this. So I will still strive to get what I want, because that's what I'm going to go for. And I think this project taught me that if what you want is better than what someone else wants, you should be more patient, you should be more aggressive, and you should be willing to wait more. And like many people, if you want to buy a Range Rover, you won't buy it the same way if you want a Vitz. Right? It's going to take you more time to get to the other goal. That's one thing that I learned as you were doing this project, that if you want good things, be more patient. It will take you more time, probably more no's, but eventually when you get there, you'll get the gist of the struggle, why it was there. So we had a couple of meetings, but finally we got someone who was interested.
So you got over 200, 300 no's and 1 yes.
And 1 yes, yeah. Over 300 no's and 1 yes. Okay? Note that down. Over 300 no's. I remember telling actually one of my friends after we came from that meeting of yes.
2 yeses.
Yeah, we got 2 yeses.
It's
2 yeses.
Let's not confuse
2 yeses.
2 yeses.
Yeah, we got 2 yeses. That's a good point. I'd forgotten that.
You're saying your friend?
I was actually telling Shiri, it's actually Shiri.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, if you only knew for the last 1 year we've done over 300 applications, this number of meetings, and they've only gotten this. And he was like, are you serious? You've done all that to just get that one person. And he told me, if that is the process, hata mimi nimekuwa challenged, because I was thinking also, he's also in business, he was thinking that he'll also
wants to expand.
Yeah, he'll expand way faster, but he now told me that from the experience that we had, he has also learned that it takes a bit of time for you to do for you to do that project. So Caleb is better at storytelling. I've given you the finer details of how we got to that 1 yes, but it was 300 rejections,
2 yeses
and 2 yeses. So just think about,
that's what percentage.
It's less than a percentage, because
It's
1% is
3.
3.
Yeah,
Okay,
like 0.8.
Yeah, so that's what it takes for you to get to some levels. Like I always see people very happy when we do some of these things and congratulate us, and we really admire that and support us. But I often find that I think many people are cheated on the process, and that's what we are trying to pass along right now. If you're there and you're struggling, umepata two no's na umeanza give up, you still have 298 to push if you're following our blueprint. So keep pushing, you'll get that 1 yes.
Because to add on your point, I think as on our way to getting the yes, out of the 300 people, there are some people who are not, we consider it not noble. Instead of giving you a yes or a no, they don't give you anything.
Caleb took this personally.
It's or rather,
hope. They give you
or rather,
false hope.
not even nothing. Even Harry, even better, the person who didn't reply, you don't even pressure. There's someone who's promised you and giving you that timeline, that hope, because that's basically false hope. There was nothing. This was a blind lead. Okay, someone has told you, I'll give you money at the end of this time. You've taken them through the details. You've shown them what it takes. You've brought them to the office. You've gone for meetings. Just in the end, for you to call them, they're not picking up. For you to call them, they've gone here missing. The story they were saying have changed. And like Ken is saying, it's not that we've taken it personally, but you'll save someone a lot of time by just telling them no or a strict yes. If it's yes, I'm helping you, then help them. If it's a no, okay, because we're humans, something might have come up. Maybe you don't have the money, maybe you don't want to invest.
And I think there are two lessons there, like you're saying.
Yeah.
There's the lesson of the person who's saying, like you're saying, learn to say the no or yes. Don't promise something that you won't
deliver.
And you know as you're promising it, I won't deliver. That's human nature. I feel like that's human nature. It's most people just can't say strictly no or yes. And you remember even us saying, now I think we need to learn how to tell people no or yes. But then on the other side, there is us, the person who's trying to look for that yes or no. The lesson I picked up from that is, don't believe any yes or no.
True.
Jipange tu kivyako. Ukiambiwa hata yes usitulie sasa now, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And don't relax.
Yeah. Yeah, which is true, because sometimes it can make you relax. You're riding on someone else's promise, which them to themselves have not even promised to give you, because they know their situation. So I think that back and forth, like just what Ken is saying, it's also teaching us, I rather tell you no, because you'll go down and sit down and see, okay, why did this person say no? What are the things I need to work on? What can I improve? Okay, my company is not at this stage. I need to work hard before. Because the people who said no and gave us feedback are still potential future investors.
That's very true.
The person who just played around, my friend, you'll play around with me again. So also as we're learning, it's good to say no and give that person the feedback of why you said no. You might even just say, no, I don't have money. It's okay. Fine. I understand. Also, us, we needed help. We couldn't finish on our own. We needed some outside funding just a bit. So I was just adding to your point. And for you, Taras, what?
For me, what I can say, I think you guys have extensively talked about the journey since November to May when we launched. For me, I can say about continuing to take care of your baby in ICU.
In ICU?
Yeah, because I feel like for a long time now, the project of raising money taking longer than expected. The project itself, working with very many people. I think we worked with a lot of people, designers, constructors, furniture people, lawyers, investors, a lot. So again, all that time, when you're still Ken is saying, like, the regression is taking longer than now expected.
Yep.
You've pulled back so much.
The
Fibonacci is now
78.6
going to 100%.
You're about to blow.
Yeah, you're about to blow. You have costs. You're still paying rent because remember you signed the lease in November.
I think that's an important point. You can say the way we were paying November rent, December rent, January rent. Every month's rent is piling up because you already signed, like we said earlier. So you're not turning back.
And you're not making revenues from that educational side of the business. That thing really showed me that in business, you have to be okay with not being okay. Like, there were very many times we had sleepless nights, the three of us, trying to look at, okay, still remember we still have our employees
on full salary.
You're still paying them, and they're ideally working from home. Or like productivity is almost 60% than normal.
Less even.
Yeah, 60% or like
even
less,
80% less.
60%, 80% less.
Yeah.
But you're still committed to paying your people well on time. I think that was a lesson in business that in as much as you're about to die, just don't die yet. Like,
the best
fight for your life.
The ones who don't quit.
Exactly. Just don't quit. In as much as you have everything piling up, your salaries are piling up. Probably you've cut down on your own as the founder. You've cut down on your own probably needs to sacrifice probably to pay for other things. I feel like for me that was one of the deepest parts of this project. Like it took us to a very down point in terms of at least our trading was still there. So at least in as much as there's nothing happening on training, trading was there and could cushion you a bit. But yeah, going for 6 months, close to 6 months with no revenues for a company and still surviving for me was one huge hurdle that I think we passed it well. Every other time, again, remember there's demand from clients. When are you opening? When are you opening? When are you opening?
Because you had promised to open in January, remember?
We open in January, we pushed it to March. We
pushed it February first.
Every
March.
other time we're trying to push it.
April.
And of course we had reasonable reasons for why we were pushing it. Not that because we were not doing anything, we were really diligently working on the project. Because again, as I always say, good things take time. If we were to just jump into the office we got with the partitions we had, we'd have been in business still by January.
But
yeah,
quality.
but
your bus was strong.
It wouldn't be a good place.
So we decided, like, yes, in as much as it's taking us too much time, as Ken is saying, like you're pulling your catapult back, but you know the speed in which this stone will go after I've released it,
and the distance
after the launch,
the distance. That's also in trading.
Yeah,
if you're working
sense.
On trading, even though in our work, you're pulling, but when it comes,
so
comes with a bang.
that recoil velocity needs to be very, very high. So I believe, like, in as much as there's this saying by Chronics says the darkest hour is just before daylight. So when things are tough, like when you see I'm about to die, that is when probably your resurrection is coming. So
at last we also had a joke in line with that.
a joke.
After every meeting that we went to and got a lawyer would say, the guy with the light at the end of the tunnel has moved further backward.
moving away from us.
So now when he came like this.
Yeah, he came with the torch. And gave me the torch.
So now you have the torch.
So you now have the torch. You know where to spotlight.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in business, in as much as things are difficult, in as much as you're about to close,
you know where to spotlight now.
Just never give up, because the moment you give up, all your areas of trying
was worthless.
Any more sense. It becomes worthless. And I feel also it comes also from, as Ken was saying, the grit, knowing like I want to go for something, and in as much as I'm sacrificing a lot on this other end, I know where it will pay back.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think for me, those 6 months really taught me a lot about not giving up in business. Because at a point I was like, hey, why not just focus on my trading? I'll spend much time here. I'll make more money here. But again, giving value to people, how people are looking for us to create that sort of platform for them to learn the markets, to increase financial literacy again, giving value. Like, why you're doing this. You're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the impact. I think for those 6 months, I really learned a lot about just surviving in business, like, but not dying. And as much as you're in ICU, just stay there.
So you saved your baby?
Yeah, my baby is now at least, I'm already home. He's now not even in the ward, he's at home.
His health is growing again.
But anyway, guys, those are, I think there's a lot we can sit down and share in the podcast for how we got here. And I think in time, if you listen to our podcast moving forward, listen to the key lessons, because I think it also really helped us grow in terms of responsibility. It's just the same way like Tara's saying, now in real life, compare that. You get a child, responsibilities have changed. You have someone you have to take care of. There's no excuses. You can't tell your child, I didn't go to work, I don't have money, you won't eat today. So the things that really push you to man up, grow up, and change your strategy, change how you approach life. So as you listen to our podcast, I think now as our time is running up, listen to the key lessons we talk about. We'll talk much about different things we've learned in those podcasts. They'll come as a memory, they'll come as a lesson learned, just a remembrance. And I think such journeys also help us solidify ourselves as a team, because we've been through a lot with Ken, Taras, and Lawi. looking at those days for COVID when we used to go to the office. Now those days we didn't even have employees. It was just us.
Just the three of us.
So I think it was building the muscle. And it's the same way you can't jump from $100 account to trade $1 million. Even if God was to bless you with that, he can't bless you with that. You won't be able to manage that. Your psychology is not built up for that. So I think for us, it's just a step-by-step process. And I think one thing I learned when we were raising money and when we got it and all that, one important lesson I learned from one of the investors, the main investor, was the process, what you're working on is already done. If you have the vision, if you have the plan, that's already done. Always live in the next. What's next? Like with the office, it got to a point that's already done. You're thinking, what's next? You're thinking, where are we going 5 years from now? How are we going? So when you're working on something and you really believe in it, consider it done. Now leave that to the universe, leave it to God, leave that on to someone else. You continue believing in it and start working on what's next. Because the vision is always bigger. You're always working on the next thing. So keep your vision, live ahead of your time. Sort of like what you were saying, Ken. Live ahead. Don't just live. Because right now we're not sitting and clapping and saying, wow, I'm in a new office.
We're already beyond it.
Like
we're thinking way ahead.
And I think those are things we're learning. The muscle is learning. You know, once you get to the office, okay, work is not done. Now over here, work is even 10 times worse than what we had. We have more students. We have more clients. We are working with more partnerships. You know, things are moving on. So more employees, more interns, we have people. Okay, so you're thinking of what's next, how can we grow the business? And the good thing is we already have the vision. So I think for today, I think that's basically it. I think there's a lot of lessons. No problem.
Let me just add one last lesson which has come in mind, which is if you want to grow in business and grow big, have a network of good connects.
That's true.
Connections and people of value should be around your network. Create valuable friends, go for networking events, be open-minded, learn from other people, understand that you don't know everything. You learn so much from other people. Because I feel like we learned so much from going to VC meetings, feedback from them. So connections is very, very important. Probably you won't do this alone, or probably someone who wants to build into your business does not even know you, but you need to find a way to connect to that other person in one way or another, through your own friends, through your own channels, other people's channels. So always just know that investing in people, again, is very, very important. Don't just have friends who you probably just have fun with. They won't really help you. We also got to understand that.
I remember our friend Koila yesterday was telling us in the office, if you have friends and you're not talking about money,
exactly,
it's not like, don't get it wrong also, it's not like everyone is about money and all, but have people who are pushing you ahead. You're not always talking about the girls you're going to get, the drinks you're going to buy, the places you're going to travel. So continue.
In fantasy land. That's the only thing
it's reality. If you can sit down, because yesterday after having a conversation for him with about 2 hours, you've gained a lot on how you can improve, because his main point was network. Don't stop networking. Go out, know people. So continue.
I think that was my last point. Networking really can really make you grow your businesses faster than if you have a very small network of people around you, and valuable people, again, as I was saying. Have people probably with this, not ideally the same industry, but goal-oriented people, people who have a focus on what they're doing in their lives. They just have the similar energy with you. So I think that is, again,
and to add on that point, important. As you're building that network, I think it's important, as you're building it, you be self-conscious, self-aware of how you're conducting yourself everywhere.
Yeah, true.
Because from the connections we got, it was a matter of how we conducted ourselves, how professional we were, how truthful we were. I remember a long time people will come to the office, they want you tell them you can take $10 to $1,000, $10,000, but the fact that you stay true to what you are, consistent. So even if someone comes back, they trust Ken is telling me the truth because he's always consistent. He's always saying the same thing. Sure. He's not changed, and it's brought him this far. So be self-conscious of how you carry yourself, how you talk to people, how you treat people. If you treat people thinking in future you're going to come back to them to get help, they won't help you at all. Yeah. So I think that's also, as you're building your networks, whenever you're conducting yourself, whenever you are alone, you're walking, you're having fun, be professional and conduct yourself in a respectable manner.
True.
And people will respect you and help you along the way. And also help people.
Yeah.
If you want to be helped, help
Others too.
Yeah. So I think that's basically it for today.
Yeah.
I think we'll have the podcasts are back now. We'll be more consistent. Our office is just, it's behind these walls you're seeing. That's where our office is. So we'll be shooting more consistent podcasts, get more guests. There are a lot of people in the pipeline that we want to bring and share with you guys their stories, just as we've shared our stories. I think we're planning on how to diversify the ideas, the content, the people we'll bring. So you'll have a ride and enjoy, because we believe the Traders Show is not only for traders who are trading, but it's a place where we're trading ideas with the different traders in different fields. So be excited. That's basically it from me.
Thank you for listening up.
Like I always say, stay woke,
stay financially literate.
Pay us a visit in our office.
And come visit us at Lavington Mall, the Chandarana building. So there are two buildings, don't confuse. Just look for Food Plus. It's in the same compound. Now that building, go to 4th floor and you won't miss us. It's the only office that stands out.
Yeah. Come and see.
So see you guys soon in the next one. Peace.